Let's get Shayla.
We'll cut this part out.
No, just leave this in. We're keeping that.
All right, we'll keep it.
Yeah.
Anyways, that was Shayla, our technician. Welcome to Smash Critic. My name's Sam, and these two new guys we got here. We got a couple of co-hosts to introduce. So say your name and maybe your
brother-in-law Davis. My name is Davis Martin. Instagram Dan Martin, and I love movies.
Yes.
Another brother-in-law, Derek Poole. Instagram's dpool07, and movies are fun to review. So
Yeah, man. Yeah. Well, I'm glad we got together. Yeah, it's our sister-in-law / sister's wedding this weekend. So, and it also fell right around Avengers: Infinity War. So yeah, we're excited, guys. So let's do like maybe your favorite movie or Marvel movie. You could say both, and then maybe your initial reaction to Avengers and how it kind of fit into maybe what your favorite Marvel movie is, or
Okay.
I'll
go. All right, so favorite Marvel movie would have to be Thor Ragnarok, followed very closely by Doctor Strange. But Thor Ragnarok was awesome. It changed the way I feel like the Marvel movies are made and kind of the tone going forward. Plus, it was super funny. The action was awesome. Storyline, everything I thought on that movie was spot on. And it's good because that movie ties right along in with Infinity War pretty well, because, I mean, this is kind of spoiler, everyone kind of knows it, but it takes, like, Infinity War starts, like, maybe 10 minutes after Thor Ragnarok ends, which is pretty cool, so, that's my favorite
I think that's
movie.
fair. This is the non-spoiler section. We'll let you know when we get into actual spoilers.
Yeah, but that was,
fair.
I mean,
that's
that was,
fair.
and they talk about that in trailers, and that was kind of general
And it's
knowledge.
implied. If you see the second ending at the end of Thor Ragnarok, it leads right up.
I don't know if they connect movies like that. You know how it really leaves you 10 minutes, and then the events happen.
It's only
really cool.
just when you have like a franchise that's really paving in the way, and not just doing like a sequel every 2 years, but rather spin-off sequels, like whatever you want to call it. But like Avengers is really unique, so they need to kind of do those connections wherever they can.
Yep, I agree.
That's good.
Well, I'd have to say that one of my favorite Marvel movies that kind of got me interested in the whole Marvel universe was Thor, the original Thor. I just liked it how it took you out of the Earth's universe, took you into a completely different universe, and different characters, different mythology. That's what got me interested first in all the Marvel stuff, and then I got hooked and started watching all the other ones. So.
And you guys probably, I mean, you might know a little bit by my taste. I really like, dramas a lot of the time, and maybe more so boring movies. But I love Avengers movies in their own right because they're super fun, and I go for the fun of it. And that's why I would say Thor Ragnarok's probably my favorite too. And I mean, like really going into this movie along with it, I mean, for our overall reaction and kind of what we'd how we'd evaluate it. I can just start off. I'll just say, like, this movie is probably a bit heavier than you'd expect going into a Marvel movie.
Very heavy.
Yeah. Do you guys have anything?
Yeah, very emotional. I mean, it's hard to get into without giving anything away, spoiling anything. I mean, overall, it was a very emotional movie. You'll be happy, sad, stressed.
Yeah.
You're gonna be a little like betrayed, like in some spots. I mean, every emotion you can think of, like, you're gonna feel in this movie. I mean, it's not your typical like Ant-Man. I mean, it's heavy, like I said.
I think this movie, almost a good word too, is it kind of it's hopeless. Like, it's hopeless. Like, you feel like all the hope got sucked out of the room, and then you're completely just like, what are they gonna do now?
So I mean, go prepared.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, if you're going for just the fun of it, I mean, I think it really takes kind of a more so of a fan of Marvel than, seeing like Ant-Man or, a movie that kind of stands by itself, because this one, you're obviously combining stories of so many different characters, but also you're not in it just for the like puffed up action and fun of it all. You're in it for like all the emotion and care you have for them over the years. You care about
everyone, and you want to know what's going to happen to them.
Well, because you've been watching it for years. So
10 years.
And I think the purpose of why we're doing this is that maybe help some people prepare to watch the show. Because there is, I mean, if you are new to the universe, there are some definite movies you have to watch, or else you're going to watch a movie and be completely confused. So,
what would you guys say are the most important ones?
Davis and I were talking about this earlier today, and I think a very important one is you definitely have to see Guardians of the Galaxy. You just got to at least watch one of them.
That introduces you to like Infinity Stones and like outside of Earth, like you were saying, like Thor does. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, and those characters are going to present themselves quite a bit in the different movies, and so you got to at least know who they are and the roles they play. I think also too, there's two main characters from the Guardians of the Galaxy that you need to know their background, or else you're not going to understand.
Yeah, I would say Doctor Strange is one you have to see, just because again it there's the I guess I can say a spoiler because Doctor Strange, everyone's seen that.
For a while,
the Time Stone is in Doctor Strange, and obviously Thanos is trying to get all the stones. Everyone knows that, and that's one of them. And so Doctor Strange really introduces you to how like the actual power of an Infinity Stone and how it can work and why that gauntlet's going to be so devastating if he gets all the stones.
Yeah. Then also you gotta watch Thor Ragnarok because if not,
that leads right up to
that leads right up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shoot. Okay. Guardians, Doctor Strange, and Thor Ragnarok. And those are pretty, like especially more so part 2. I mean.
Yeah.
Well, I guess Infinity Stones is like part 1 of Guardians of the Galaxy, but most of these are pretty recent.
But if you're gonna watch one, you might as well just watch both because they're good movies anyway.
Yeah, they're good stuff. And 2 out of those 3, Guardians of the Galaxy 2 and Doctor Strange, are on Netflix. So.
Yep, there you go.
And Civil War, which kind of feels
which is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But
okay, so I guess overall, let's do any qualms that you had. Kind of keep it vague still for the no spoilers. Any qualms that you had, and then we'll do just do an overall grade out of 4 or 5 out of 5 or whatever.
Okay. The only I guess issue I had that I can say without spoiling anything is some of the fight scenes with a lot of people involved, like. When this is in the trailer again, it's not a spoiler. When they're in Wakanda fighting the aliens or whatever, the action scenes can be really choppy, and so you can't take it in. And they kind of did the same thing in Civil War at the very beginning. They're fighting, and it's so choppy with like Black Widow, like you don't even know. Because they're trying to edit out her stunt double and all this stuff. So that's really the only qualm I have without going into the spoilers. I do have a few more. But then again, there's only a few scenes like that in the movie that I kind of got a little annoyed with. And I mean, honestly, like sometimes I got a little not like motion sickness, but I'm like, if they kept this up, like I'm gonna get a headache, Yeah. But overall rating, do out of 5?
Yeah.
Do out of 5. 4.5 out of 5. Yeah.
4.5 out of 5.
Yeah.
Right.
It was awesome.
Cool. Thanks.
Yeah, I'd say the one thing I kind of had a little bit of issue with, but just a disclaimer, I'm not a huge movie critic. I'm more of an enthusiast. I like to watch. I like to be entertained.
You're not one of the snobs.
Yeah.
That's good.
Some of the comedy in a lot of Marvel movies, there's a lot of comedic relief. Especially in this movie, there's a lot of tension, but the comedy seems to release that tension. I feel like there was a few scenes here and there that kind of felt a little rushed, felt a little pushed. But majority of it was awesome. The comedy was great. Just there's a few scenes that I can remember that I was kind of like, didn't really need to be in there. But other than that, the comedy's great. I mean, there's a great interaction with a few characters that we'll probably mention in the spoilers that I feel like they did a really good job on. But just initially, there was a few of them I was kind of like, kind of cheesy. Didn't need to be in there.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
I was gonna just give it a 4.5 out of 5 as well.
Yeah.
I walked out of the movie theater completely. My jaw was to the floor. And I was absolutely amazed of the experience I went through. So.
Yep.
Thanks. Okay. I think that a big part for me was coming into this not knowing that I needed to be emotionally prepared.
Yeah.
It was a lot like Deathly Hallows Part 1. Like, I mean, I was unsure whether it was going to be a Part 1 or if it was going to be a standalone, and it's really more of a Part 1, right? Mm-hmm. So, like, I wasn't too prepared for that, so... I'm excited for part 2 because it's gonna there's gonna be redemption and
hopefully answer a lot of questions.
Hopefully piece your heart back together too. So so approaching this movie, I mean maybe that's less of like a critical standpoint and more of just I didn't like give it enough credit, but I definitely felt like I guess the story was a little bit just depressing a little bit for me, but aside from that, there's a little bit of misplaced humor, kind of like going off of what Derek said, like tension that didn't need to be broken, like and if they did need to break it, like maybe use a little bit more creativity.
Yeah, you could have done a lot better than
just kind of like this was awkward, that kind of stuff, you know. But I'd probably give it I'll just give it a 4 out of 5. And don't run me out with pitchforks. But yeah, I'm a little bit less into Marvel movies, but I felt like I did approach it with like I'm not in it for like necessarily like the art of it all, but rather how much fun am I gonna have, you know?
Yeah, pure
and
entertainment.
if you're in there for the fun and the entertainment, you're still gonna get a lot of it, but not as much as maybe hope.
I can say too. Also, this was the first movie that I've ever been in that the crowd was cheering.
Oh yeah.
When certain characters would appear or you'd see something happen, the whole audience would cheer. And I've never been into a movie that people did that.
The actual experience of it all, like totally. Like,
and it probably helped that it was the first time I ever watched a movie on IMAX.
Oh yeah.
So I've never seen them on that big of a screen.
We did see it on IMAX.
It was a very huge screen.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Shows how much I know.
Shows you where I'm from.
Legacy and Bountiful, or Legacy Theaters, they do IMAX.
There you go.
All right,
It's worth
yes. So we'll cut this off. We're gonna do a full video including this, and then we'll go into a bit more detail. But
Spoilers coming up.
Yeah, if you don't want spoilers, just watch the no spoiler video and don't go to the full version. All right, we'll cut it off. Okay. All right. So we're getting into spoilers. If you're not prepared, get off and watch the short version. All right, guys. So, what's fresh in your minds? What did you love? What did you hate? And we can just
Everyone dies.
Everyone.
Yes.
Sorry, I had to get that out
not
there.
everyone.
Not everyone.
Majority of the Avengers did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Disappear. We don't know if they died. They just
Some
disappeared.
did die, but some just.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't even know what to turn to ash
Disintegrate.
or something. Yeah.
I think.
Sorry, I just had to get out of there. We don't want to talk about that now if we don't want to.
Right.
But
No, that's fine. That's
I think
a good place
just
to
going
start.
off, piggybacking off of the whole like everyone dies. So very beginning of the movie, it's action packed. It's intense.
yeah.
So you get introduced to Thanos right away. It's not like anything. He's just boom,
Yep.
he's there. And Loki and the whole interaction there. That
Loki. I mean, that was really good. And I've always liked Loki. I think Tom Hiddleston is an awesome actor, and so I've always liked watching him in any movie that he's been in. And I was pretty disappointed when he died at the beginning.
Yeah.
I thought he was gonna have. I really didn't think a lot of. I thought a lot of heroes were gonna die, but I didn't think about other characters like that in Heimdall that die right off the bat.
Idris Elba, right? That's
Idris Elba.
Yeah, you just told me. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I mean, it was. I got like, I mean, that was what, maybe 10 minutes in the movie, and I was already emotional. I was like, holy crap! I was like,
did he just really just kill him off?
Yeah, I was like, no, he's not dead. Like he's gonna do one of his tricks. Never comes
Even
out
Thanos
so far.
says like no resurrections.
Yeah. Oh, it was. I was like shocked.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. That whole interaction was.
Yeah.
Was good.
I think it.
Sorry.
Well, I think it also summed up the relationship that Thor and Loki had.
Oh,
For a long time, they were always really just butting heads. They'd always fight against each other, especially if you ever see the first Thor. I mean, you're just like, man, he's like a bad villain.
Mm-hmm.
But then I think at the end they kind of summed up their whole relationship. Now this is going kind of deep, but that Thor and Loki really have, because you see the way that Thor reacts when Loki passes away. Like, it's amazing how that.
Yeah.
They're introducing, the movie definitely does a pretty good job of introducing the viewer of what kind of movie this is going to be within the first few minutes.
Sets the tone.
Yeah, totally. And I mean, it really does blindside you, because like we said, it starts off right where Ragnarok ended, and Ragnarok's like the most lighthearted, funniest movie of all of Marvel, I think. So like, it's all implied that all of those characters that were fun and stuff at the end of that movie,
literally like 10 minutes
Korg's
earlier.
dead.
Yeah.
Korg must be dead, and Mink. What? No, yeah, Mink. Yeah, but you already thought he was dead. What's the girl's name? What's the girl's name that was the Valkyrie? That girl.
Oh yeah. She was, I can't remember her name either, but yeah, the
like
Valkyrie.
we thought that might be a love interest or something. So like that's done. Anyways, yeah. So it was a good start to let you know what you're in for.
And it shows, it shows how powerful Thanos is without a gauntlet, because he kicks the crap out of Hulk.
Oh yeah.
Just completely kicks the crap out of him, and and then they get he gets beamed back, to Earth real quick. But yeah, good
You
start.
had-
One of the best starts to the movie.
Yeah.
Going off of Hulk, you had some qualms.
I
with that
did.
A little bit.
Yeah. So I really I've always liked the Hulk. I love when he just loses control. Like what was it in Avengers 2 when Iron Man brings out Hulkbuster suit and has to fight him?
Yeah.
I love that. I love when Hulk, because he can't always be controlled. And after Thanos beats him up, the last thing Heimdall does, sends him back to Earth, and he never comes back out. He is Bruce Banner the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of made me a little frustrated. I personally felt like they did it because they're already using so much CGI in the movie. Maybe it was cheaper for them not to use the Hulk. And because I felt like or maybe it would have made it too easy to defeat Thanos if Hulk was, available. So it did kind of bug me a little bit that Hulk wasn't it. Same with Ant-Man and Hawkeye. I mean, Hawkeye's kind of
Not much
whatever.
you can do.
But still, if they're in this Avengers and they bring everyone basically from the MCU, and then to leave out almost leave out 3 if you count the Hulk, is just kind of a little bit of a letdown. I love Ant-Man. I think Ant-Man's awesome, and he wasn't. I mean, he's mentioned in it. They kind of have one little line where they kind of say he's with his family.
Yeah.
Never brought up again. So that was one of my kind of
weird.
You wonder though
Qualms with
if
it.
that question's going to be answered in maybe part 2. Maybe they're off doing
Yeah,
something
that's true.
special.
Mhm.
Now Hulk, I don't know. That kind of frustrated me too because Hulk is one of those characters that you see in all the Avengers movies,
yeah.
and all of a sudden he's not there. He's in there for just 4 short, 2-3 minutes at the beginning, and then he even tries to get him to come out on one of the scenes when he's getting
A couple of them, 2 or 3.
yeah, when he's getting beat up pretty good by one of Thanos'
little agents, 4 or 5
yeah.
agents, whatever.
He almost comes out, but then he says no to Bruce, and so
Mhm.
it makes me wonder why did he do that? Was it just a purely CGI thing, or was it part of the storyline that he can't be part of it?
Yeah.
I
I
don't know.
wonder if it was not necessarily Thanos, but more of to make the Wakanda battle more dramatic.
Yeah.
They needed to have less of
Huge.
the odds on in their
Yeah.
favor, to make it more intense. Oh my gosh, who's gonna come out on top? I'm having a phobia right now. I want to make sure that this is still recording. Yeah, so let's get into more detail then about. Okay, we mentioned comedy. All right, yeah, Derek, you take that away. What were some of the specific things that you didn't like about the comedy?
Some of the specific thing, a specific thing that I kind of drew me out of the movie was there's a scene where Drax is eating a potato chip. And he's
Yes.
and as he's eating it,
yeah.
you can't see me, and he's
Well-
trying to be funny, and it just I feel like it
It's
didn't work.
and it's not even it's not so much him doing that. It's what he's interrupting a moment with Gamora and Star-Lord that makes me mad because that was because Gamora again doesn't really show emotion or love emotion or anything. And I felt like it was gonna happen. And then Drax is I'm invisible, you can't see me, and he's standing right there,
If they would have done it maybe 30 seconds of him, because when he first initially, when the camera pans from Gamora to Star-Lord to back to him, to Drax, for the first 30 seconds, it was kind of funny. He was oh yeah, and it should have went right back to him and you left. But they did it for another
they love
minute
to
and a
drag
half.
those out.
Yeah.
And I feel like it really ruined because at that moment, Star-Lord and Gamora, they're talking about a very serious thing. And she makes Star-Lord promise him
to kill her.
to kill her when the time
Spoilers.
comes. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Spoilers.
We're
So we
good,
told
we're
you.
good.
Especially when it comes to the Soul Stone. And at the time, he doesn't know what's going on. He's like, "What are you talking about?" And she's very emotional. And I think they ruined
It
it
just
with
pulls
that
you right out of the
section.
moment.
And breaks in tension is good sometimes, but big
Yeah.
thing for me was how off the cusp it felt.
Yes.
It didn't even seem there was a writer involved there that kind of directed, okay, this would be funny. It was just let's come up with something off the top of our heads, and now Drax thinks he's invisible, which doesn't make any sense to me.
Because Drax says some pretty funny stuff.
He does.
With
Yeah.
Mantis
totally.
in Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
and he plays up and it's funny, but then that scene, I think that's the only scene he's gotten that's comedy
Yeah,
that I can remember. And it just like I said, it just pulls you out of the movie. It's not that funny. They drag it out and
There's a moment too where they're bringing Vision into like Wakanda's, surgery place. What's his name? T'Challa's sister is about to operate on him, and it's like the first time Bruce Banner and Black Widow see each other, and like they're like staring at each other and like saying like it's good to see you too. And,
I remember that because in the movies you kind of went.
Yeah, like it was
that,
potentially like a cool moment.
Could have been
It
really.
wasn't even heavy at all. Like,
Yeah.
and then you have what's his name? Falcon is holding Vision and is just like, this is awkward. Like,
Yeah.
that's so lazy,
yeah,
man.
it should have been. It should have been a
there's
lot more. It's almost like when. I mean, I'm gonna bring another movie like in Star Wars Episode 1 when Anakin meets Obi-Wan. That should have been a super powerful scene. Like. And it's like, oh hi, nice to meet you. That's exactly how it felt.
Yeah. What's up,
With this, it should have been a lot more. I mean, she was the only one that was like able to pull Hulk or Bruce Banner back out of Hulk, kind of. And then there was just like, hi, like I haven't seen you for 2 years, so hey,
What's up?
yeah.
Yeah, they did nothing with that, and
Yeah.
man. So I mean, and I've noticed that in a lot of Marvel movies too. Like a big one is when what's his name? When like Baby Groot is like talking about how like hats confuse him because he thinks it's part of.
I thought that was hilarious. I thought that was
works
like.
for some people.
I thought that was one of the funniest parts of the movie. I was dying.
I don't follow that very well, but like, yeah,
Well,
I get it.
I also think now we're talking about Groot, kind of
I was
reminded me.
yeah.
I was just gonna say they kind of focus a little bit too much on Groot's adolescence because he's growing up,
Oh yeah.
but I feel like they focus a little too much on him and his video game. Like, cause all he does is play the video game. And
Like
he
a
goes, and he goes,
1980s,
I'm
like-
Groot, like a 15-year-old
Yeah.
kid. And I feel like that they did way too much of that. I think it could have been really short, funny, and then moved on to another piece of the.
I'll say right now that was one of my biggest issues with this movie, and that was one of the only things I will actually say like I hated in the movie because I loved Groot. I loved Groot in Guardians of the Galaxy 1. I loved Baby Groot in Guardians of the Galaxy 2. The hat thing I thought was hilarious. He's always been funny or like super moving when he saves everyone at the end of Guardians 1. And then this movie, he's this punk teenager. His voice kind of bugged me. It was like this weird squeaky voice, which I understand what they're trying to do.
They still used
He's
Vin
going.
Diesel, by the way.
Did they?
Oh, they did.
Wow, that's
Oh,
impressive.
Just like dubbed
That's-
his voice.
Yeah. But I didn't like anything. I mean, the only thing he does one thing in the whole movie, and that's he uses his arm to make the handle of the new axe that Thor uses, and that's it. And other than that, I mean, it's just kind of. He was such a letdown, and I mean, and we can get into kind of trailers too. In one of the trailers, he's still Baby Groot and it was one of the very first trailers they put out there. Black Widow's driving a car, and Baby Groot is on like he's somewhere in the car on the dash or something, and he's never obviously Baby Groot's not in the movie. It's his teenager
Trailer's a
Groot.
bit misleading a little bit.
Yeah, so I don't know. I hated Groot pretty much the whole movie.
Yeah. Now, with that said, with all the kind of the negative stuff that we've had about the comedic stuff, there was some very good comedy that was throughout the whole movie. One of the ones I just want to talk about briefly is so when Thor gets sucked out and he's just in space, right? And they think the Guardians come up to this place. There's a distress beacon, so they come up with their ship, and there's debris everywhere. And as they're kind of going through the debris, they're like, "Man, what happened here?" Thor, who got sucked out of the ship or got knocked out, I can't really remember, but he hits the windshield of the machine, and they're like, get it off, and
It's like a dead body.
I thought for me that was pretty funny,
Yeah.
and then Thor, his eyes open, and then they all freak out, and they're like, what the heck?
His eye.
One eye opens, yeah.
Well, and then his whole interaction with Star-Lord. With Chris Pratt was super funny.
It was so good.
Chris Pratt's trying to like make himself manlier because they got his
deeper voice.
God of Thunder. Yeah, it was good.
There's some definite humor that works.
Mhm.
Like I love that Avengers has kind of found their brand and made it work even though they don't have like the grittiness and realism of like Christopher Nolan.
Yeah.
Marvel's made it work for themselves where they've gone into like a more comedic, less stressed position. And I think that's kind of the reason why I thought this wasn't like complete enough of a movie without part 2, because part 2 is gonna not leave you as depressed as
Oh
this,
yeah,
you know?
it better not.
So like,
I mean,
yeah,
hate it if
and
it
I
leaves you
feel
just as
like it's
depressed.
not a complete Marvel movie at all. Like, because it really is branded in such a way that you leave being like, yeah, man, like you're like pumped for life a little bit more, and you're happy that Marvel's maintained this direction. And I think it's good that they've like built up their drama to this point where they can, evoke emotion from you and whatnot. I'm pretty sure a lot of people cried.
Yeah.
Especially if like Peter Parker and stuff. But like, it wasn't complete. Like,
Yeah,
so
it's definitely a part one. It is
my
a
wife,
part one.
my wife said that she's probably not going to see this and gonna wait till part 2 comes out.
And then see them both together.
Yeah,
Smart.
after what I
That's good.
said.
That's a good.
And I
idea.
thought that probably was a good idea.
Yeah.
Maybe if I could go back, maybe I'd do that. But then again,
I don't know. I couldn't wait for it.
Yeah.
I couldn't wait for it. I don't think.
So should we talk about one more pro then? I guess and
sure.
see what else.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Let's do that first. Yeah, and then we can kind of have a conclusion.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you start off?
Me?
Yes.
Oh,
Sure,
one more pro. I thought they did an awesome job with Thanos. I thought he's been
Yes.
the best villain.
The CGI too.
Yeah, well, not even just how he looks. He looked great the whole time.
Yeah.
There's never a point where I'm like, this is CGI. It pulled me out of the movie. Never once I think that. So they do a great job with him. By the way, make him look. He talks Josh
Brolin, yeah.
does an awesome job.
He's gonna
Awesome
be Cable
job.
in
And, yeah, he's
Deadpool
Cable.
as well.
I don't know how he pulled that off. But that's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
seriously cool.
But yeah, I thought he did a great job. And this is almost like you could just call this like Thanos' movie, basically. Like, I mean, it was his movie. Like, he
probably
like,
got the most screen time.
yeah, he's the star of the movie. And I thought the story was really good with him collecting the stones, using them. I thought I feel like he almost like stole the movie from a lot of the heroes. Like, obviously I loved when the heroes came in and people are cheering and stuff.
Yeah.
But man, every time Thanos was on screen, something crazy happened. Every single time.
Yeah.
Like when Gamora, they go to nowhere to try and get the reality stone, the red one. And Gamora kills Thanos, but really the whole place is already destroyed. And it's Thanos using the reality stone, and you're like, oh my gosh. And that's how I felt every time Thanos came on. Is something crazy happened that you weren't expecting.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was awesome. I thought he stole a movie, and I feel like the best part.
I think one of the part of the story that I like about Thanos too is that you got to see he's a very evil villain. Probably one of the worst ones we've seen in in the MCU.
I was gonna go off on that too.
But what I liked what they did is, yes, he is, but they also showed a very compassionate side of Thanos. He does have love in him, and he loves Gamora very, very much as an adopted daughter, as it'll explain in the movie. So I love how they kind of fed a little bit on the compassion side of Thanos. That yes, he is a very evil person, but there's also a bit of human to him that we all can relate to. Because I just love how they really focused on that.
Well, yeah, man. Like, I honestly think my favorite part of the movie was Thanos. Going off of that, he obviously looked great and everything, and he was super impactful in the movie. But yeah, he was such a complicated villain because, his total mentality was evil and skewed and whatnot. But he completely thought he was like a righteous dude.
He thought he was doing the right thing, trying to kill half the universe.
And at the same time, he didn't expect anybody to be on his side on it.
Yep.
I loved how he said to each Avenger, like pretty much every Avenger that fought up against him one-on-one, he paid his due respects to them. Tony Stark,
he knew.
He was like, I hope they remember who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, totally. And
even Captain America, when he first fights Thanos and Captain America grabs his gauntlet. He starts to spread the gauntlet. Thanos kind of gives a look like, whoa.
Like, you're stronger than I thought.
You have some serious willpower, you know?
Yeah, you're
course,
worthy. You're like a worthy opponent.
Yeah, you're a worthy opponent. And then all of a sudden Thanos is like,
okay, whatever.
See you later. But I love that aspect.
Yeah, Thanos definitely thinks he is like morally sound, which is a lot. I really like that, especially coming from like Last Jedi to this. And this is a little bit off topic, but crap, guys, like Snoke. When Snoke is like, there was one line in this that I hated, which was Snoke, and I guess he doesn't matter that much because, spoiler for Last Jedi, he doesn't make it out in the end.
Which I'd be surprised if you hadn't seen that yet, because it's been on video for a long time.
But maybe he did make it out. We don't know. He's cut in half, but hey.
Look at Darth Maul.
Yeah.
Seriously. But yeah, dude, Snoke specifically says we need to extinguish the last bit of hope in the galaxy. What are you, Satan? Like what you want is hope in the Reliance, not hope in general, you know? Like only Satan doesn't want good qualities to not exist. So to have like a villain that's actually relatable and thinks he like is
balance.
right, morally right. Yeah, but his whole thing is balance.
But still evil enough to be a villain that you do not like.
Oh
like,
yeah,
you like
he's
him and
totally
you don't
skewed.
like him. Yeah,
like his morality is totally evil, but the fact that he like how it like makes sense how he came to that skewed view.
And going with the story, so when he adopts Gamora as a young child, he takes out that little blade. And that blade says this blade is perfect. He does one and talks about balance.
All right.
I think you really start to understand who Thanos is and what his motives really are when he does that.
Well, he's been obviously
Gamora tries to
doing
kill him
this.
with it.
He's obviously been trying to kill half the population his whole life because he did on his. He tried to do it on his home planet, and then a meteor came down and like basically wiped out half the planet anyway.
Or I think they exhausted their resources.
That's
so
right.
that shows you why he's so bent
and
on
then
doing it.
obviously he did it on Gamora's planet because you watch it as he's cutting with a knife, like they literally kill his guys, kill half of them. So he's been doing this for a long time, and this time he's just like, you know what, I'm gonna do it universe wide, and that's what he does.
Yeah.
He doesn't expect anybody to be on his side, but he's still gonna do it. That's such a good villain.
Very good pro. Yeah, we can talk about probably Thanos for another half hour. You know, different elements.
Sam, do you have another pro that you want to?
No, honestly, Thanos was my pro.
I would just say, Thor during the movie was depressed. You know, his brother died in the beginning, and I felt like
he's got one eye.
Yeah, he's got one
most
eye.
of the movie.
He was he was kind of fighting his own demons, and I loved it when they went and got his hammer back, and it actually turned into being an axe instead of a big old axe with Thor's or not with Thor, with
Groot's arm.
Stormbreaker.
Yeah, called Stonebreaker, and he finally gets it, and you see the lightning come down onto it, and I feel like that moment he felt like he kind of almost redeemed himself, and that now he had his purpose back. I really love when he gets introduced at the fight at Wakanda.
Oh yeah,
he comes down and just lightning and just completely goes off, and that's one of the moments that the audience cheers really, really loud. And for me, I felt that little tingly feeling. I was like, that was bad. That was So that was,
and it's not even only him that comes down; it's him, Groot, and Rocket all come down. And Groot kind of does, he does the thing what Groot does in the first Guardians, where he extends his arm, like stabs like 10 guys and like swings them and stuff.
Goes in the ground.
Yeah, Groot's doing that. I mean, it was like you said, it's like I'm getting like goosebumps talking about it because it was such a powerful scene in the movie.
It was really cool.
The fact that you feel like Thor was like the missing piece to just basically end this war. Right when he comes in at the end, it's just
because he comes in at a time where you think all hope is lost. Because you feel that way 20 times throughout this movie, 20 different times. But he comes in and you think he saves the day. Eventually, obviously, the day isn't saved. They basically lose.
Who's the girl? Vision's girlfriend. I'm sorry.
Scarlet Witch.
Scarlet Witch. So there's a part there too when after Thor comes down, the Sheik then joins the fight because she's helping Vision with a stone and stuff like that. I love when she comes in and kind of just kicks butt, like destroys things and kind of helps out.
Yeah, you see the full capacity of a lot of people's powers that have maybe been a little bit more in the background. Also very excited about Captain Marvel at the end. Just a little.
Yes.
Little
the end post credit scene.
Captain Marvel, by the way. Guys.
It's Captain Marvel. So I wasn't excited about the Captain Marvel movie at all. I'm not a huge fan of Brie Larson. I feel like she's a pretty good actress, but there's just sometimes I watch her on screen. I'm like not really. Like in love with her performance.
It's not very much a Marvel.
Yeah, but now that I've been doing some research on Captain Marvel and how she's basically, hopefully she's the one that saves the day in part 2. Right. Like I am really excited for it, and I've kind of read a lot about how everyone around like the movie production and everything's been saying she's been doing an amazing job. So
cool. And I think with the Russo brothers, is Russo brothers directing this one? Do you guys know?
I'm not sure.
I guess part 2.
Part 2.
I'm not sure.
That was with her. I have complete faith in Marvel. They've never disappointed me at all. Any of their movies. They've got the correct people in place. Yeah. They got Kevin Feige. I feel like no matter what they produce with Captain Marvel, it's going to be good, and they're going to make sure it works together. Especially when you're making billions of dollars off of movies, they're gonna do it right.
Just a little tidbit too. Like I just had a conversation with my buddy. He's really into like cinema and like critically acclaimed stuff and whatnot, like Oscar movies and whatnot. And he was just talking about how he felt like Marvel movies have been like kind of destroying cinema because it's just sequel after sequel and there's no originality and whatnot. Like like you said, there's never been a Marvel movie that I walked out disappointed from, and that's pretty cool. Like you go in wanting to have fun, and you will.
And even some of the ones that really didn't get the best reviews, like Thor: The Dark World, didn't get the best reviews.
Right.
Iron Man
I think it was
3,
Yeah, 3.
I think didn't get the best reviews. I still love watching them though.
Yeah.
I don't. Again, they're not my favorite movies, but I'm not like you said, I'm not disappointed.
Yeah.
I've never
And I think
That's what
also
it comes down to a lot of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And they're also stepping stones too. You know, I feel like a lot of the movies that you watch are stepping stones to the next one. They give you a little bit of crumbs. It's just a bread trail all the way up until Infinity War that we just watched. So.
Yeah. So you go for different reasons, and that's why we didn't really do like the whole grade scale that I've been doing of like artistic value and character development. If we wanted to go into it, I'd talk about how the story, like again, it's not complete without whatever part 2 is going to be. But for these kind of movies, I go for different reasons besides just my little criterias that I have, and I have a good time, and I walk out happy, or maybe a little bit less so.
Happy, or you walk out no matter what. Even if you walk out sad, you walk out affected in some way, but it's never disappointed.
Yeah,
that's never the emotion you feel when you walk out.
Well, anything else, guys?
There's so many parts to this movie. We definitely encourage you to go and watch it, go and see it. Embrace it. I'm actually going to be probably watching it again this week again because there's a lot of stuff in there. There's so many moving parts. There's so many themes, so many elements that the second time is really going to help me be able to understand a little bit more of the characters and be able to look into some of these deeper things. But overall, probably one of the best movies of the year.
Yeah. The last thing I want to say was I really enjoyed when they bring all the different characters together. It's almost made me feel like they did in the Avengers. When Avengers, they all first came together and you're like, oh my gosh, you see them first time on the screen. It's like amazing. They did that really well. The interaction with like Spider-Man, Iron Man, and Doctor Strange is really good. When Thor, all the Guardians of the Galaxy is really good. I mean, it was just, they did it so well. I thought I had a feeling it wasn't going to do so well. I thought, man, they're probably going to have some parts that's awkward. They're not going to fit together. But they paired the right characters with the right heroes with the right heroes. And it was, like Derek said, one of the best movies of the year. For sure. Loved it. Yep.
Awesome. I would agree that, I think there's been a few that had like A Quiet Place maybe, and like that would take, kind of the 1 through 3 rankings of best movie of the year so far, but I think Avengers would be up there. Honestly, I had a great time.
Yep.
Well, awesome, guys. I want to thank you both. We got Derek Poole. What is it on Instagram?
It's DPool07.
DPool07 and Davis Martin.
Dan Martin.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, guys. Subscribe, like, disagree, whatever.
Put it in the comments.
Repost it or whatever. Yeah. Let's open up a conversation and see if we agree or not. But thanks, guys.